Hiya, so it's been 2 days since I've got back to Germany. I've just been to the gym. It's a bank holiday here in Germany, so I thought I get around to actually film a bit. I'm wearing my finished peacock tee because it's actually quite warm outside, and we're going to have a barbecue with my partner's family later on today. So yeah, like I said, just been to the gym, just had some lunch, and now I thought I'll kind of go through my experiences of being in Edinburgh and being at the Woolly Good Gathering. And I thought it'd be best to kind of go through it chronologically, because I actually started filming once before and it was getting quite a bit like tangled up. And I think if I'm going through it chronologically, I might be able to remember more so what happened, what actually happened. So for a bit of context, as you could see in the video, I was staying with Vanissia from The Woolly Worker. She also has a podcast here on YouTube. You'll probably know her. And yeah, we had been in contact over kind of both having a podcast and then Instagram and WhatsApp, and now FaceTiming every now and again. And she did actually invite me to come and stay with her throughout that weekend, which I gladly accepted a couple of months ago. And then since then we had been planning on kind of how we wanted to go about the trip. I actually stayed for, I think all in all it was 5 days, but then I arrived very late on the first day and I had to get to the airport relatively soon on the last day. So all in all it was about, I would say, so Thursday, Friday, Sunday. It was about 4 full days. So and then 2 half travel days kind of. And then on the first day, we had talked a bit about what we wanted to do, but Vanissia was really great about saying that kind of she lived there, so she could always go back. Whereas that was my first trip to Scotland. I had wanted to go for quite a few years now, and so it was really special for me to get there. So she made a few suggestions, and then she asked me what I wanted to do. So I created a map. You can follow along all the things that I'm kind of mentioning on that map. I have not been to all of the things on that map, but you could use it as a guidance if you're also planning a trip to Edinburgh. Yeah, so kind of the things I'm looking for on a trip are using kind of like my feet to get around. I love walking about in a new city and kind of exploring it through that. I love architecture, beautiful scenery, like looking around, taking like photographs, going to good cafes. So I enjoy good cafe, a good cappuccino, kind of like with a good espresso in it, or a flat white. So I'm always on the lookout for a good coffee, a good pastry, and a good bookshop. Obviously, yarn shops and thrift stores are also kind of in the same realm, and so those were things that I was looking out for. So if that's also your cup of tea, I think that Edinburgh map will be helpful possibly for you as well. But also I'm not an expert about Edinburgh as a city or Scotland as a country, but first of all, I obviously very much enjoyed my trip. Yeah, it's now been about 2 days since I'm back. I kind of recharged. It was kind of a lot of socializing for me. So the introverted part of my self was quite tired at the end of the trip. The other part of me was felt quite replenished with all the kind of inspiring talk that I had with people. The inspiring knits I was seeing. I was actually able to try on lots of Vanissia's knitwear. She actually tried on some of mine, and I thought that was something very rare that you can't really do a lot, like try on knitwear that you'll then make yourself. So that was actually really nice. And yeah, so first of all, we started our first day, our first full day after grabbing a quick breakfast. We started off driving off to New Lanark Mill. That was something that I wanted to do. Vanissia had suggested it before we're like planning a bit. And the new Lanark mill is actually in New Lanark, which is a World Heritage Site. So all in all, I would highly recommend you go there if you're in the area. It's not too far off. I was staying in Glasgow, which is kind of halfway between Glasgow and Edinburgh. And so this was about, I don't know, like half an hour drive. It is a half an hour Scottish, like, very windy roads drive. So my stomach was like, wow, we don't have roads like this in Germany. But it was beautiful scenery. I was looking at all the yellow flowers that I later on found out were called gorse, if I'm not mistaken. And I love them. I was seeing so many sheep on the side of the road. So not being the driver has its advantages for sure. So I was looking out the window quite a bit. And then we arrived at New Lanark Mill, which Vanissia was actually able to tell me quite a bit about the historic background of the site. Apparently it was kind of like an utopian kind of city-like resort where that person who came up with the idea wanted to create a community where children were actually not working but going to school, and then the kids were like taken care of at school, were able to work. So at that time in Scotland, it was actually not usual for kids to go to school, but more so work still. And I don't know much more about that, but then they kind of created those mills. They had like a school. It was kind of like a commune. And so we went there. It was actually pretty, very pretty. And it had also had that waterfall, kind of very scenic, outdoorsy area. But we also, of course, went to see all that. But then I also really wanted to get an iron weight quantity. This has quite a few spinning oils in it. I can actually tell from grabbing it. I don't have all the yarn with me yet. Some of it is actually on the way from Scotland still. I was only traveling with hand luggage, so I wasn't able to get everything in there. So I actually sent a parcel out to myself with Vanissia's help from Scotland. So that should arrive hopefully by the end of this week. So I got a sweater quantity or a cardigan quantity. I'm actually planning on making the Chunky Moulinet cardigan by Lena Holm Samso. One of my lovely viewers has actually gifted me that pattern from my wish list, so thank you. And yeah, I got a sweater quantity of the moss color in the Aran weight. So this is 160 meter for 100 grams, and I think I got 700 grams. As per my estimations, that should be enough. So yeah, that's what I got. I actually have a little disclaimer about this. Like I said, I very much enjoyed my time at the mill, but when we were looking at the yarn and I picked some up, I was actually looking at the autumn color, which was a beautiful like browny orange red. I had some moths fly directly at me and I got super like kind of frightened, or I was just so shocked. They actually flew into my woolly jumper, which I was like then trying to get them off. Obviously I didn't want them to munch away at my sweater, and we were both kind of shocked. It happened actually a couple of times throughout looking at the yarn, and I was so put off by the idea of that I at some point I felt like I'm not sure if I'm going to buy yarn here. I then, person that I am, was very openly kind of addressing this with the shop assistant that was working at the time. And she was reacting in a kind of interesting way. She acknowledged it and was like, oh yeah, we know about that. We're actually having a person come in every month to take care of it. And that kind of made me wonder, what does that mean? Because like, yeah, she was like, it was very natural yarn, and that was probably why they had that. So I really didn't want to talk badly about them. I hope you understand that I'm just sharing this information for your own sake. So if you're ever going there, she offered a plastic bag that I then put the yarn, or she put the yarn in for me, and then I put it in the freezer when I came back to Vanissia's place, and I actually left it in there for 2 whole days and 2 whole nights, and now I am not too frightened to put this into my stash. But I just wouldn't have wanted for anyone to go there and buy yarn and be excited about it and then come home and risk a moth infestation in their beautiful stash or yarn collection. So yeah, I told her about it. She seemed like she knew about it, and yeah, was saying that they were trying to get it in, kind of, yeah, take care of it. And yeah, I just wanted to share this. I hope it doesn't come off as me talking trash about this place, since I really actually enjoyed going there. But yeah, I was a bit I was wondering how, yeah, what could be done about it really. And other places who also sell very natural yarn don't have that problem. She was also saying it's that time of the year, I guess, like it's getting warmer and everything. But yeah, I was quite shocked when the moths, like plural, were flying at me. And yeah, so this hopefully is safe, since it was frozen over 2 days and 2 nights. So looking forward to make that cardigan with it. We then actually went to Glasgow for the second half of the day. I got a book that was on my long-term kind of like wish list. I actually don't have it with me right now, but it's this book. I'm going to put it here. I found it for kind of like half price, since it was from the used bookshop, and I was really happy about that. And then I also found a vintage Levi's that I'm always on the lookout for them, because I feel they don't make jeans like that anymore. I feel like, and I was actually quite like struck by the color of it, and I was like, ooh, do I like that, or is it like too funky for me? But it took, and that is a theme for the whole weekend, it took me so long sometimes to come up with decisions, and I was actually quite a bit annoyed with myself. Like, I didn't want to annoy anyone else around me with my very long decision making, but actually everyone who was advising me and asking me, but how do you feel about this, and would you like this more, like everyone who was helping me, namely mainly Vanissia, but then also at the festival a couple of other people were really kind to help me through my process of shopping for yarn or fabrics. I could feel throughout the whole thing that was quite like overwhelming to make so many decisions just within one day. But yeah, I decided to get the pants. I think I'll really enjoy wearing them, and it'll just be something really fun and special in my wardrobe. So that was Glasgow. We went to the Botanical Gardens for a while. We had a wonderful lunch, and went to a few little shops. And then the first day of the festival actually started. I had another quantity of iron weight on my mind, and that was actually from the Jamesons of Shetland booth. This is the Shetland Heather Aran knitting, and it's ginger snap. And I also got a quantity for a cardigan of this. I had heard about this yarn, I'm sure. I think Ahna from the Brook Willow Knitting Podcast, she had used a green color from this yarn to make a relatively easy looking, or like basic looking sweater. But because it had such a beautiful moral, the sweater looked really special, I felt like. And since I was looking for another quantity of yarn to make the step-by-step cardigan by Florence Miller, since this is obviously the year of the cardigan, as the Mal, I think it's a make-along, is called Year of the Cardigan Mal, that I'm attending with quite a few of my projects this year. I thought it would be nice to have this. I think these two are some of my favorite like all-time favorite colors, so it'll be nice to have 2 cardigans in kind of like an Aran weight without any mohair or alpaca, just like very simple and like toned back. I really like the quality of the yarn, and it just feels like it's just gonna be really nice. This I feel like has less spinning oils in it than the other one. Not really sure why this has 92 meters, so I got I think I got 10 of it. Yeah, I hope this is gonna be fine. As far as I remember from looking at the pattern, it should be fine. So let's hope it all goes well. At that same booth, I also got a little pouch, just like a Jameson's pouch. And then I went back to it the second day, but I'll talk about that later on. I also got one of the Woolly Gathering pins, as I didn't want to buy another tote bag, and their tote bag was actually black with the writing on it, and I thought it looked super cool, but it wasn't really my style, so yeah, I got that. Then oh, I'm sure I haven't talked about this yet. I did the dyeing workshop actually first thing in the morning on the first day, so let me talk about it. Lisa from For the Love of Yarn from Glasgow, she advised us, like she taught us a bit about the basic knowledge about acid dyeing, and then we're actually able to play around with it for ourselves. And what I came up with is this 5 skein mini set and a full skein, 100 gram. Both of, or all of these are 75-25 merino, superwash and nylon. And I'm quite happy with them. I'm actually gonna make some socks with my green main color for myself, and then put the rest into my blankets. And I think I'm also gonna put my minis into my blanket, with the exception of, I think I'm gonna gift these two to my 2 friends that I actually wanted to bring them something like a hand-dyed sock yarn, and my other friend was asking for some orange chocolate, and I actually looked into quite a few booths and shops to get both of those things, but I wasn't really in the shopping mood for any hand-dyed yarn myself, so you'll see I didn't buy any from this festival. And I also would have really struggled with space in my suitcase. Like I said, I was posting some of the stuff to myself, and even in that box there was literally no space left. So I think it's going to be really special for me to give each of my kind of 2 closest knitting friends in real life to my hand-dyed skeins. I actually gave one of them, or possibly, no, I think I gave both of them. I'm not sure, but I already also had like gifted some of my hand spun yarn once before, and I thought it was just such a personal and special gift to give. So yeah, I was really happy to take part in that course. It was really fun to just learn something new and do something you probably have never done before. And yeah, so I really enjoyed myself. Lisa was really funny and nice, and the group was lovely. So I think we're off to day 2. And I think the most special thing that I got this whole weekend is a handmade project bag. This is by Jo. It actually says somewhere on here, by Jo. I think her Instagram and YouTube handle is Designs Made by Jo. She also has a podcast, and I have watched a few of her videos, and we have been in contact over Instagram, so that's how we know each other. And she actually said she was making one for Vanissia, since they were kind of swapping yarn, and she thought, oh well, she's doing them just like as a hobby as well. She's also sewing next to other textile crafts like crocheting and knitting. And so when she thought it would be nice to give Vanissia the yarn in a project bag, she then said, well, I can't make one for Vanissia and not make one for Marlene. And I thought that was so lovely of her. I love all the, like, it is like Scotland like in a nutshell, kind of. It has the tartan, it has the Highland cows, it has the flowers on it. I love that she gave me the one with the petrol zipper, whereas I think Vanissia got one with a violet zipper. So it's all very much fitting. And yeah, I have some other things that I bought myself in here. I just wanted to say thank you so much again, Joe. It was lovely meeting you in person and talking to you, and I'm actually very happy I didn't buy another project bag myself, because I was looking at one with Highland cows on it, and that one was beautiful as well. But yeah, this way I just have my special Scotland project bag with me now. And this also made me really meet a Highland cow in real life, which then kind of made our activities for the last day very concrete. Find Highland cows, and we managed, as you could see in the video. But yeah, in this beautiful handbag, project bag, there's actually a couple of little spindrifts, 25-gram skeins, and it's actually 4 skeins. My plan is to make a Burra cowl by Mary Wallen. Recently, I've been really interested in doing something like a Fair Owl project, and I actually have some de-stashed yarn from 2 of my friends that should match this in gauge. One of them is from Raincloud and Sage, and the other one is from Jameson and Smith, and they all are, as far as I know, 4-ply, so they should match. And before I actually like go and make an entire cardigan, Fair Owl cardigan, I thought I'd start by using these 4 and just putting them together with the colors I already have and make a Burra cowl. On the last day, I was able to wear Vanissia's cowl, and I really liked how it was kind of keeping me from the wind. And yeah, this is the project that I'm really looking forward to. I also got at the same booth, and I don't know why I don't have it with me. Clearly, I'm not well prepared. I got the Meadow book by Mary Wallen. It was reduced in price at their booth, and so I got it from them as well. I'm not seeing it anywhere around me at this moment in time, so I'll probably put a picture. But yeah, now I'm thinking about either getting the Shetland book as well, or just getting the Burra cowl through Ravelry, which should also be fine. But yeah, I got paprika, bramble, pine, and burnt umber, which funnily enough, the pattern, so I got all of these that the pattern was asking for, and then thought I had some other matching colors for the other ones at home already. Hannah's actually sent me a picture of them, and then I could try and see if they matched. And I actually did without talking to Vanissia first, because this was the second day. I had signed up to get a shiatsu massage in the mornings as like a pay as much as you like area they had like close to the basement shopping area. That was amazing, like such a great idea, also by the festival crew. It was amazing because I was quite like tight in the shoulders, and so I was alone, like mooching around myself for some time without Vanissia. I was looking at the colors, and I didn't like the green that she had chosen, so I choose pine. And then when I showed Vanissia, she's like, oh my god, did you choose pine instead of the other green color the project actually calls for? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I made that same modification. So that was really funny. But our cowls should still look a bit different, since I'm just using these 4 colors from the original color selection, and then swapping in some other ones from my stash. But yeah, super happy about this. Jameson's Shetland Spindrift, and I love these, like just like minis, like 25 grams. Such a great thing. And yeah, then I also got from Vanissia's stash, this is getting a bit tangled, but I asked her if she had any like 10-gram minis left over that she wasn't knowing what to do with, so she gave me one of these. I've going to put in my blanket kind of mini stash, and this is going to go into one of my blankets, and this is what I'll then be able to remind our trip by, which I think is always such a cute idea. So I also got this one. And then actually from Kathy's Knits, which we went to on the first day. Sorry, I'm now getting a bit out of the kind of order that I thought I could stay in, but yeah, obviously I couldn't. We went to Kathy's Knits before going to the festival on the first day, and I got some JC Rennie Scottish super soft 4-ply 50 gram, and this is in the colorway Lightstorm, and I thought it was just beautiful. I was thinking about like what to get. I wanted to support the yarn shops that I also went to apart from going to the festival, so I got one small thing at both of them. I'll show you what I got at Ginger Twist as well in just a minute, but yeah, Vanissia actually suggested that I could make some penny gloves with this, which I think was a brilliant idea. I have 50 grams, should be fine to make some gloves with. So yeah, that's what I got at Kathy's Knits. And let me now jump over to some of the yarn I got back at the festival the second day. I got some Lammermuir wool, Simply Shetland 4-ply, and this is in the color Firth. I actually met one of you guys there, and Chu was her name, and I think she had come up from London, and she talked to me, and I was actually able to have a little peek and show her bag. And at that point I hadn't yet found the Lammermuir booth yet, but it was very highly recommended to me from a couple of you guys, and then I had heard great things about the brand and the yarn as well. And so when I was able to see that yarn in her bag, I was like, oh, I love that color. It's really great, kind of basic, or yeah, kind of, how do you say that, a good classic basic color. And this is the worsted spun from grey Shetland fleece from like a small flock, and it just, yeah, it was a Scottish yarn as well. I think I only got Scottish yarn on this trip, which I think is fantastic. Like, I was really very much just in the mood of kind of embracing the area that I was in, whereas kind of on other trips hen dyed, for example, was so much more like on the forefront of my mind, and this trip round I was just looking for the like Scottish yarn, really. So yeah, I got 3 of this, which also should be fine. That should be around like 380 meter per skein, so it's 1,000 and like a bit. So that should be fine for like a basic fingering sweater, which is another thing I had kind of like a hyper focus about. I actually really wanted to get some Kinross 4-ply. I only have one skein that, again, my friend who has been to Scotland a few times before, she brought for me on her last trip. And I'm gonna also possibly make some penny gloves with that. But yeah, I wasn't able to find the colors that I had set out to get in the quantity that I needed. So I was looking at porridge and Highland cow, obviously. Very Scottish again, but I wasn't able to find enough of both of these. So I just went with another fingering sweater quantity, and it felt really nice to knit up on a fingering gauge. So a few more things. As I said, kind of the chronological order is out of the window, but we're still good. I was able to meet Aude from Bubbles and Berries, and I was able to get my hands on one of her beautiful stitch markers. I actually never had them, had never been able to get any of those before this trip, and now I got them. They're mushrooms, and I was torn between the mushrooms and the birdies. Loved the look of both of them, But yeah, I went with the mushrooms and now I can't wait to put them into my projects. I also got from Beyond Measure a thimble that is actually an XL, like double L, to put onto my thumb, because I have one thimble for my index finger. But when I was actually doing some of my hand quilting on one of my latest sewing projects, I actually felt like it would have been nice to have a thimble on both of these fingers. And so yeah, I got this from Beyond Measure. They also had a beautiful booth and just a leather thimble. And then we went to Edinburgh Fabrics. That was also on day 2 after breakfast and before heading into the festival for day 2. And I got a few of kind of squares of tartan. Kind of like a tweed tartan look. I really loved the look of all of these, but I couldn't kind of come up with what my favorite color was actually. And then I saw that they had these like cuts for people to try out, and they were £1 each. So I think I bought 12 in all of the different colorways, and I'm gonna make my own project bag with them. I plan on sewing with them, then trying to put in kind of like a lining and a zipper, and yeah, we will see how this goes. But I thought it was really nice way of using some kind of like tartan tweed fabric without getting a whole meter or more of it, and then yeah, possibly paying quite a bit of money for it and then not really knowing what I wanted to do with it. But this kind of combines the handmade kind of patchwork, quilt and tartan look all in one, and I really love that. The store is actually a big recommendation from my part, so if you're ever in Edinburgh, you should, and you like sewing, you should check them out. They also had buttons and zippers and anything really that you could need for textile, yeah, crafting, hand making. So like I said, I'm not entirely sure where my Mary Wallen book is, but I'll find it eventually. And I wanted to show you 2 last things. At Ginger Twist, we actually spent quite a bit of time after the second day of the festival. She was inviting people who were at the festival to come over for a glass of Prosecco and some after festival shopping. And I had in mind that I really wanted to, lastly, I knew they had the Kinross 4-ply, but I wasn't looking to spend more yarn on another yarn, like another sweater quantity. So that was kind of the decision I made on that. I will possibly just wait for them to come up with more colors, or just in the future see which color still speaks to me. There's like a greenish blue that I also really liked, but yeah, I wasn't in for buying more yarn really, but I wanted to look at the fabrics. I had seen that they had Merchant Mills, and so on my shopping list kind of there were a couple of fabrics that I was looking for. But at that point in time, my decision fatigue was really was getting really bad. I wasn't, especially because I'm not like an advanced or experienced sewist, I wasn't able to come up with like really what I wanted to make, how much yarn I then needed for it, not yarn, fabric. Or was taking me quite a bit of time. I switched between making some shorts to making a dress, and then it turned like I was calculating, it was turning out to be quite expensive to get all linen fabric for a whole dress. And then I was questioning my abilities to make said dress. So it was just all getting a bit much for me. And as I said, we all had like 2 days of festival going under our belts, and the people we went with, it was super lovely to chat to them. But like I said, I wasn't able to make any bigger decisions and more expensive decisions at that point. So I was a bit sad, but then also I'm now very much okay with not having spent any more on fabrics or yarn there. And I left with just this little pin. it is kind of their shop front, their old one. Now they're in a bigger studio, but yeah, I was happy to have something that really reminded me of going to the shop, but then also not just buying for the sake of buying something, even though I would have really loved to support them. I took quite a few pictures. They had some really great books, hand-dyed yarn, commercial yarn, so really highly would recommend going there. We actually had quite a nice scenic route going from the festival to the Ginger Twist shop, and then going back we saw a bit of Calton Hill and Hollywood Park, and so yeah, it was fantastic going there, as you were hopefully able to see in my vlog. And yeah, I think that rounds up all of the things I bought, with the exception of a hand knit garment. I actually didn't think that I would buy a hand knit garment this weekend, but when I was talking to Vanissia about her projects that she had made, and obviously we both have made decisions in our knitting that we now regret a bit when it comes to colors or sizing, or how long we made how long or short we made arms and bodies, and like all of these things. There will be some projects in there that you're probably not love forever. And I actually took one of these projects that Vanissia wasn't loving anymore off her hands, and I bought this champagne cardigan of her. This is in Double Sunday by Sandnesgarn and Tin Silk Mohair by Sandnesgarn. It is by Petite Knit, the pattern. I love that it's the cardamom colorway. I really would have loved to make something in this color, but now I don't have to, I guess, anymore. The champagne cardigan I wanted to have for quite a few years now, ever since really becoming a knitter. It has been on my radar to do, but I never really got to it. And it's possibly also because it's like a stockinette project. It's a beige color, so there's nothing really very exciting about this knit. And I have found myself to be a bit more drawn to a bit more challenging knits at this point in time. And then obviously like mixing it up with a stockinette project every now and again as well. But because Vanissia really wasn't wearing this anymore, she found out about herself and her own style that, as far as I remember correctly, this wasn't her color, as she likes a bit more of a like bluish gray neutral than a warm beige. And this is kind of a neutral, but more so a tiny bit like warm leaning neutral. And she also isn't a fan of mohair. She's not really liking the feel of mohair on her skin, so I took this off her hands. I'm gonna possibly put this in with my spring cleaning. I'm gonna do like a roundup of all my thick winter knits, wash them, put them out in the sun, let them dry up, and put them in the basement. But also I think that'll be nice to have this still out for a bit more of the spring season, to just use as like a layer or instead of a jacket. She did such a beautiful job with it. I think the double knit band and everything else is just very professionally looking, and I'm glad that I got it for just the price of the yarn. As you will have seen, I have also de-stashed kind of finished knits for the price of the yarn, and this was just a wonderful opportunity for me, and I'm thankful to her that she trusted me enough to kind of give this to me now, and I'll take care of it. So this is the last thing that I kind of got, and something I didn't really expect that I would take home. So it's a good mix of things that I really had in mind and had my eyes on, and then a few things that I really didn't know I would acquire, but make very, very much sense within my making and what I really like at the moment. So yeah, this is everything that I had to show you about what I got at Woolly Good Gathering. Lastly, I really wanted to say a few words about the event in and of itself. It was in Summer Hall in Edinburgh, a location I've never been to, but I thought it was really well organized. It was over 3 floors, where on each floor you had kind of like a market and a more so social and like fuel up, talk to people. There was live music. Like you had two areas. You had the shopping area, of course, but then also you had some like social areas where there were quite a few where you could just sit down. We never had a problem of not finding a seating situation or like opportunity to just rest our legs for a moment, which was very good, I thought. The outside area was beautiful. The weather was fantastic. Everyone kept telling me how bad the weather can be sometimes in Edinburgh. And obviously, I thought I lived in London for a few months before, so I knew British weather. But yeah, I I thought like I was trusting people telling me that it could be really like rainy and windy. I wasn't not believing what they said, but I had none of that. It was a bit windy at some occasions and it rained the tiniest bit, but overall, I think I got there on one of the most beautiful weekends of the whole year. So I felt really very grateful about that and about Vanissia hosting me and being a great host to me and really making me feel like I could almost get to all of the things I wanted to get to. We saw some Highland cows, we went to a farm, and actually made it work to get to the sea as well. It was to South Queensferry on the last day. I was able to get to all the kind of like coffee stops that I wanted to get to. So I really hope I didn't forget anything. Like I said, it's been 2 days since I've come back. I'm still kind of thinking of all the memories I made and going through the pictures, and I'm obviously editing this vlog. If you've got any questions about the trip or Edinburgh or something that I could kind of help with, the festival, anything related to that, please feel free to just comment down below or send me a message. And I'm just very happy that I got to take y'all along with me on this trip. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did so, feel free to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm bound to head to a few more festivals this year, though I'm very happy to be home right now. I'll be at Wedding Wool Weekend in Berlin, and then possibly maybe at Barcelona Knits again. Not sure about that, but I'm just very happy to be able to experience these things and share them on my YouTube channel. So I hope you're all taking care of yourselves. I hope you're getting some good chunks of knitting time and enjoy your crafting and spend time with people that you love. And bye.